is Chase Bank safe to bank with and to borrow from? I want to talk about this from the more high-end conspiratorial point of view of banks collapsing and the world coming to an end. I want to talk about this if you're an everyday consumer looking to develop a healthy banking relationship with an institution and you're just concerned in the economic climate we're in if a place like Chase Bank is where you need to be banking. And I'm also going to cover this probably more importantly towards the end for my small business owners and entrepreneurs. I want to talk about Chase Bank as a viable option for you to build your business on top of banking and borrowing wise. So the first aspect I want to cover is Chase Bank at risk of some kind of default or collapse? The short answer is absolutely not. Chase Bank is not only the largest bank in the United States, one of the largest financial institutions in the world, but they are one of the most well-ran and well-capitalized banks in the country. There's people who may not be a fan of the CEO, Jamie Dimon, etc., in different ways, but the way he has operated his career, he's turned Chase Bank into, a historic and financial institution, pound for pound. So the answer in short, the conspiratorial point of view, I can tell you relatively well. I guess I'm not some kind of elitist, but from my education and my experience in the banking industry and somebody who studies this stuff and works in the industry, Chase Bank is going to be fine. It'll be one of the last financial institutions in the United States, almost in the world, to collapse. The U.S. government banks and borrows with Chase Bank. So I can tell you right now, that won't be a concern anywhere in the near future. The next aspect of this is for you as a consumer, and we'll segue into the small business section of this. Is Chase Bank a good institution or one of the better institutions for you to do your basic and higher level banking with? The answer is it depends. For some, it is not an intro bank. It is not the bank that you're going to get your banking relationship started with. There's exceptions to that. If you are somebody who just comes from a decent background and you have a good fundamental understanding on how to do your banking, and your needs are just fit the criteria that Chase Bank can provide you, then they could be great from the onset. Even getting your kids' bank accounts, they have the financial infrastructure to offer banking regardless of the age bracket. When it comes to functionality, when it comes to service, when it comes to borrowing, Chase Bank is not always the entry-level bank. So is your money going to be safe with Chase Bank? Most likely, yes. If Chase Bank goes down, the United States is collapsing as a whole, most likely. It's that serious. So it's fine. When it comes to your functionality, when it comes to your ability to conduct your transactions, get the kind of things you need to develop and grow, Chase Bank is going to be hit or miss. Chase Bank is not a good developmental bank. If you need secure credit cards to get started, secure loans, if you need low balance requirement checking accounts or free checking accounts and saving, stuff like that with low requirements, Chase Bank is not where you want to start. If you need entry-level products to get your financials in order early, then they are not where you want to start. That's the same thing for the business side. It's also not going to be any good if you don't know how to bank in a low-risk manner. It's not a good institution for that. Chase Bank has a ton of technology and infrastructure, and they have absolutely no problem ruining your relationship as a customer and giving you terrible service if they think you're a high-risk banking customer or borrower. What I mean by that is if you do unconsciously do suspicious activity, if you have unorthodox transactions you conduct, you don't have to do this too often for them to start blocking transactions and outright shutting accounts down. Chase Bank has no problem with that. They're so large and so successful that they can afford to be picky. So if your banking transactions or the way you're borrowing from them and what you're putting down on applications when you're borrowing from them is not comfortable for them, I assure you, they are going to block transactions. They will freeze accounts. If you move a certain way, they will shut it all down, send whatever money you got with them off, and they will close it off. You will never bank with them again. So safety, sure. If you can meet the criteria of how to bank with Chase, how to borrow from Chase, they're a safe institution. You don't have to worry about banking crisis and all that. Chase Bank is going to be the one playing Monopoly, gobbling up all the insecure banks in the country. Chase Bank is fine, but they are very difficult to bank with if you don't know how to bank or borrow effectively and function low risk. And if you do not have the financial means to fit the products that they offer, Chase Bank is not going to work for you. So the upsides of dealing with Chase Bank is if you can meet their criteria, there's no bank in the country that can offer you more on the upside. Your ability to get access to capital, to facilitate transactions, transferring capabilities, technology and infrastructure, your ability to connect multiple institutions, Chase Bank is phenomenal for that. And there's not going to be many institutions anywhere in the country that are going to outflank them or outmatch them in that department. So if you can meet the criteria, you have healthy enough financials, you're consistent, you're a low-risk banking customer and borrower, then Chase Bank is going to be as good as it gets as you continue to develop and grow financially. For small business owners in particular, entrepreneurs, Should you start your business banking relationship? Should you start your first borrowing relationship as a business owner or a small business entrepreneur with Chase Bank? Depends. Again, do you have a healthy enough financial track record and set of behaviors that will let Chase Bank feel comfortable on onset? And do you have the financial metrics to meet Chase Bank on the ground floor? They're going to be taxing you if you don't have at least a couple $1,000s you can sit in a bank account. They're not going to approve you if you can't get approved for at least $3,000 to $5,000 on a business credit card, for instance. They're not going to entertain you with lines of credits and loans in most cases if you can't supply a year to 2 years of solid financials, and that's ground floor. If you can't meet those kind of criteria, if you're looking for a bunch of low doc programs, Chase Bank is not the place to go. Their credit cards are solid. You know, you can get in the door business credit cards with them if you got really good established personal credit and financials and your business has basic fundamentals set up, then you can probably get in and get some really good credit card relationships with them. But if you're looking to get in with an institution that's going to give you extremely personalized service early, and they're going to give you access to solid banking features and infrastructure as well as borrowing capacity early on, and they're going to do so with a lower threshold, nah, it's not going to work, my guy. Chase Bank is not going to want to be where you start. Chase Bank is going to want to be one of those more established institutions that you go to. They're going to be one of those institutions that you're going to want to put your best foot forward with early, because if you're high risk, if you're shaky, if you have low to poor financials and can't meet certain thresholds, they're either going to not bank with you, blacklist you, or they're going to charge you fees to bank with them. So in conclusion, as an intro, this video is really just a soft intro because we're going to be diving into Chase Bank pretty extensively for the next month or so. We're going to be focused on them for banking, for borrowing, particularly again for my small business owners, my real estate investors, etc., solopreneurs. You know, that's kind of my bread and butter. So Chase Bank, if I had to round this up, phenomenal institution, pound for pound. You'll see that as I start to extrapolate on them in this little series we're going to cover. But definitely can tell you right now, they're not for everybody at all times. I can tell you that for sure. Comment down below and let me know what your banking relationships have been like with Chase Bank. Open up. I know a lot of y'all had negative experiences. Comment down below. Let me know what it's been like. For those of you who've had positive experiences, keep it a buck. Comment down below. Let me know, have you had success banking and borrowing with Chase Bank, and on what level? What products? What was the scenario? Let me know if you have more conspiratorial views about Chase Bank from a stability point of view. Do you disagree? Do you think Chase Bank is at risk of collapse? Do you think that they are shady business with them? You know, something to that effect. Let me know what you think about Chase Bank from a secure point of view, economic, overall collapsing point of view. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. If you want to learn more about myself and the channel, start in the description section and work your way to the about section. I want each of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.